ready. Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast Digging Deeper with Erica and Mandy. We're glad you joined us. If you're new to the podcast, I'm Mandy, that's Erica, and we do things a lot differently than everybody else does. We take the Bible, we usually go word for word through it and try to explain the best of our ability with the help of the Holy Spirit what it's saying here. Holy Bible.
Is our video in reverse?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why I'm having such a hard time.
Yeah.
Okay. We can see ourselves behind the camera, like real big.
Yeah. And it's really funny because, I'm on this side, but on there, I'm on that side.
Everything's reversed.
Yeah, but, the words are the right way. So it's as if somebody was sitting over there. That's how they would see us.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So that's good to know, guys. All right, so today we're doing another straight talk.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to be talking straight about Martha and Mary.
Okay, I know that this is like the cliche story for women for the holidays.
Well, to be honest, whenever you said about that,
Yeah.
and you said that exact sentence,
I did say that exact sentence.
I was like, I never even put those two together.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Really.
Oh.
So, I'm
I
the
feel
weird
like
one.
every holiday season, somebody somewhere is talking about Martha and Mary, and that's why I've avoided it for so long. Because I don't know, there was already enough people talking about it, but
Apparently, I don't pay attention,
yeah,
but
You just
that's
watch
nothing new.
camping videos or something.
Golfing videos.
Oh,
There's no
golfing.
Mary or Martha on golfing.
Are you sure?
I don't know. There probably could be.
Yeah. Let's look that up. But we are supposed to continue in our study in 1 Peter, but I texted you yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Was it yesterday?
Or the day before?
I think it was Sunday.
I can't remember. It was very recently, and just said I felt like I was being led to talk about Martha and Mary, which is just so out of character for me because I don't typically follow fads or trends, which I think it is. People talking about Martha and Mary around the holidays, and this week is Thanksgiving. So, but I don't know. It was on my heart. I prayed about it. Kept just being led to it, and so let's talk about it.
Well, let's talk about it.
I don't know why I haven't, because every holiday season I think about Martha and Mary, intentionally, because I've learned a lot from them, and it's helped me. So why not share it
With you guys. Help Jens out a little. Because it helps us, so any little bit helps, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we just want to read the account? I'm sure everybody's heard it, but let's just take it from the top and read
ahead.
it. Do you want me to read it? Okay, so we're going to be in Luke 10. They are mentioned, Martha and Mary. Okay, and this is the Martha and Mary whose brother is Lazarus.
Right.
They're mentioned in all 4 of the Gospels. This particular story, though, is only in Luke.
Right.
Okay. So we're in Luke 10, verses 38 through 42. Yeah. Okay. Now, as they were traveling along, this is Jesus and his disciples, he entered a village, that's Jesus, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister called Mary, who was seated at the Lord's feet listening to his word. But Martha was distracted with all of her preparations, and she came up to him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the serving alone? Then tell her to help me." But the Lord answered and said to her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and bothered about so many things, but only one thing is necessary, for Mary has chosen the good part, which shall not be taken away from her. Okay.
All right, let me just ask this question here.
All right.
Because I know we was talking about this earlier, but this just, like, jumped out to me, how you was reading it that way. In verse 38, it says, mine says, now as they went on their way, Jesus entered a village. So did Jesus leave his disciples there and then he went himself?
That's what it seems like to me. I mean, it says they were traveling, he entered the village.
Mine says, now as they went on their way, Jesus entered a village.
It sounds like he went by himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why, but that just jumped out at me while you was reading that. Because I didn't...
Okay.
I thought they were all there. But I don't know. It sounds like it was just Jesus himself.
That's very interesting. I guess I always picture... Because it says previously in this chapter that he has 70 disciples now that he's sending out, and he's communicating with them, he's instructing them, they're following him, they're traveling around. I mean, some commentators when I was studying for this were saying that he had 70 disciples with him. That would have been crazy for Martha to be serving all of them.
That's chaos.
But I don't know. I don't think they were all there. I think maybe it was just Jesus.
Man, how like... would that be just Jesus showing up at your house, be like,
Question.
hey, I'm Jesus.
Let me ask you that seriously. If Jesus came to your house, would you be like, oh, let me hear everything you say? Or would you be like, let me serve you? Like, I got mac and cheese in the cupboard, you know what I mean? Like, what would you do?
Well, honestly, if I didn't know who it was, I'd be like, I don't know. But... because it says a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. So she had to have known of him, right? Because if he had 70 disciples, and I'm sure he's been through there more than this.
Yeah.
She had to have known who he was.
Yeah.
So if that... I would have welcomed him over to my house because, I don't know, I'd like to think that I like to open my house up to other people because I like having people over at my house. I like not entertaining them, but I like the fellowship with them.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the question again?
I guess it was, would you call yourself a Mary or a Martha? Would you call yourself a Mary or Martha for those who are watching?
You? What would you call yourself?
I think I would want to call myself a Mary. But at the same time, I feel like I might be a Martha, which makes me sad.
See, like me, I feel like I would be both of them because, I mean, you've been in my house. My house is wide open, so I would be able to cook. But, see, my thing is I like to have the food ready before the people get there.
Yeah. I've noticed that because you have a lot of things at your house, that it's never over the top like you're trying to impress us. You do what's necessary, and by the time everyone's there, it's ready to go, and you're just there with us, fellowshipping, like you said. You're part of the conversation. You're not, like, trying to please everybody and running around making sure everything's perfect. So I would say you're definitely Martha and Mary. You are both.
Yeah, that's just odd. I mean, I've always thought that of myself, but nobody's ever asked me.
And I think that's the key to this whole thing is there's a balance. There's a balance between what Martha's doing and what Mary's doing. And we'll see later. We're going to talk about this, but Martha, I think, crosses the line. We'll see that.
A little bit.
Because she should have been more like Mandy. Martha, Mary, and Mandy.
No. M's triangled. What is that?
I'm going to write your name in there.
Don't. No. It's only one book I want my name in.
Which book is that? I don't
Never
get
mind. Okay.
it. The Lamb's Book of Life? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
All right. All right.
Where to start? Okay, first, all right.
Okay.
When I was studying for this, everybody's like, there's a Martha spirit and there's a Mary spirit, and there's just...
Well, is there really a spirit?
No, I can't get on that board with everybody else.
I can't either
can't
because
do
it never says that there was
No.
a spirit in them. This was their spirit. This was a spirit leading. No,
Yeah.
it just calls them by name.
Yeah, as if to imply. So people are saying this is the Martha spirit and she's flawed, and this is the Mary spirit, and maybe she's a little bit flawed too. And like, take your pick. Are you one or the other? I don't get that. I'm not with people when they say that. I don't think there's two different spirits and you can choose one side. I think we're to learn from this that there is a balance.
Mm-hmm.
That what Martha was doing wasn't wrong in and of itself, but crossed the line where it became wrong.
Yeah.
And Mary was commended, and that's it. She was commended.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's start with Martha. I want to point out that when Jesus, what does he do here? He reproves her, he corrects her, he rebukes her, maybe you could say it like that. He says you're worried and bothered about so many things to her, but only one thing is necessary. So he's saying, you're so distracted with all your preparations, you've missed the whole point of what you're doing. But listen, he never says, you shouldn't be serving, Martha. He never says that.
Mm-mm.
You should be seated right here doing nothing. He doesn't say that to her, because I don't think he finds a problem with that. I think Martha has a gift. When she knew Jesus was coming, she welcomed him into her home. It doesn't say Mary welcomed him in their home. Martha did. She took the initiative. She said, Jesus, come in here.
Yeah.
And she did what she's good at doing, was preparing things for him. Women, this is the holiday season. We know what that's like. Is there food? Is there drink? Is the house clean? Are they comfortable? Does everything look presentable? If they have, is the bathroom clean? We think about all these things. Mm-hmm. Some women are just really good at this, and it really is their gift to be hospitable like this. Mm-hmm. And I think Martha was like that.
So my family, they call it a servant's heart, where they're serving other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, when we get into this, that's what Martha is doing. She's using her servant's heart to serve Jesus, but then she crosses the line.
Yeah. Well, let's stop right here before that line's crossed. See, this is the line.
Do not
She
cross.
was here, she went here, but when she's still here, before she goes over, let's commend her.
Okay.
I like that she took the initiative. She had a gift that God gave her. Mm-hmm. Okay, and she used it to serve his purpose. He was famished. There's no Burger Kings. There's no Starbucks.
How did they even survive? You got yours.
He doesn't have a home.
No.
He's dependent on people and their charity. And she served him, and she did a good job. And I'd like to say that this holiday season for us, we should be like that. We should think, okay, what is the gift that God has given me? And how can I use it to serve God? Because sometimes, I think, especially with Thanksgiving and Christmas, this whole season from now till January, there's traditions we follow. Okay, this is the day we get the tree. This is what we have for Thanksgiving. These are the people that always come to my house. This is when I go shopping. This is when I do this. We have it. We could put it on the schedule and follow it because it's what we do every single year. But sometimes we start focusing on the tradition and we forget the whole meaning behind it. We forget that we do this for the Lord. Mm-hmm. And he can interrupt our schedule at any time.
Well, how appropriate is it that Thanksgiving is before Christmas?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So this is the time when we're supposed to stop and, assess what you're thankful for. Mm-hmm. And it should be Jesus. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And all the things that he's done for you and he's blessed you with, and even thankful that you get to sit at his feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That he would come into your house, that he would use your home for his purpose.
Mm-hmm.
He would use you and your gift for his purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really good point. For this Thanksgiving, I keep hitting my microphone. In like 2 days, it's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
If maybe we could reassess and say, God, use me this holiday season. And it might look different. We might not follow the same schedule we always follow year after year after year. But just being led by the Spirit and thinking, okay, is there somebody else I can invite to my Christmas dinner this year? Is there something the church is doing that I can sacrifice a little bit of my time and go and volunteer? Is there any way I could reach out to the community or serve anywhere? What is your gift? What do you do? What are you good at? God has given everybody a gift. And he's prepared good works for us. Ephesians 2:10, I think it says that that he's prepared things for us to do. Are you making fun of me?
A little bit. You just rattle that off.
Well,
Ephesians 2:10, right there, it says this.
I think it does in Ephesians 2:10.
I'm about 100% sure you know that it does.
I could be wrong.
Do you finish memorizing every book, the order of the book of the Bible?
No.
I don't believe you. I think you did.
It's Ephesians 2:10. But I've said this so many times. That's how I know it. But anyway.
That wasn't.
It says, I'll just read it since I'm here.
Just read it.
For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand so that we would walk in them.
What's so funny?
Well, it's funny because it says God prepared them so we'd walk in them. Like, duh. Like, what else would we do? I guess we have the choice to not do the things that God has prepared for us to do. Anyway.
That comes down to choices.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Martha's a good example of this.
Of choices?
No.
Oh, my bad.
Before she crosses. She's still on the side of the line.
She's still good.
This is Martha.
Hey, Martha.
And there's a line here. Yeah, you can see it a little bit.
My hair looks really bad today.
So does mine. Look
Sorry,
at this
guys.
swoop on the side.
Well.
Anyway. Martha is not sitting idle.
No.
She's active.
She is, but she's in there. Sounds like she's in there all by herself.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking.
All right, now we're approaching this line. Good point, okay? Martha's on the line right now. She's thinking. Okay, so I think as women, we could all relate to this, right? So you're in there slaving away. You got all this work to do. But there's your husband sitting down, watching TV, watching his phone, chit-chatting on the phone with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But you're working, and that's not fair. Why isn't he helping me? Why am I the one doing all the work? And you start getting a little bit more angry, and you start wiping the counter a little bit more severely. You start setting things down a little bit harder, making a little bit more noise so he can hear you.
Slamming the cupboards. That's what I like
Slam.
to do.
And then look at him. Did he hear that? He knows. He should be helping me. What is he doing?
Nothing.
Okay. Exactly. He's not doing a thing. This is Martha. This is the Martha moment. This is where she is. She's getting angry because she's doing all this work, and there's Mary not doing a thing.
Oh,
just
I
sitting
can
there.
just picture this. Martha all fired up.
In her mind. Her mind's going 1,000 miles per hour, and she's like yelling at Mary in her mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not out loud. She's just
It's building up.
building.
And building.
Yes.
And then
she crosses the line.
there it is.
Okay, she crosses the line. Well, how
Where's
does she
it
do
at?
that? Okay, she says, okay, listen to this.
Okay.
Martha was distracted with all of her preparations, and she came up to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the serving alone? Then tell her to help me. Did she interrupt him?
That's what it looks like.
Here's Jesus, the Lord, speaking, and she doesn't care. She interrupts him because what he's saying is not as important as what she's doing.
Mm-hmm. She's doing it all by herself.
Mm-hmm. And when she rebukes Mary, she's also rebuking the Lord here. Listen carefully. Lord, do you not care? Don't you care? What's she implying here? You don't even care.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care that my sister's not helping me.
No, because you're talking to her.
Yeah. Tell her to help me.
Command her to get away from you and come help me.
Lord, I command you to help me. This
To
is the
cook for
Martha
you.
show.
Yeah.
It's all about me. I need help.
That's what it looks like.
This is really crossing the line. I know we laugh at this and we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
I can just see myself.
Oh.
Really here. I can see myself doing this.
I just did this last night.
Oh, did you? But listen, when we're back here on this line and it's building up in our mind, this is a good point to stop what we're doing and refocus. Because if we don't get control of our mind, it will get control of us. We will be subject to our crazy delusional mind. And we will start yelling at Jesus. We will interrupt him because obviously what he's saying isn't important. He doesn't even care about me, and he needs to be caring about me. And Mary, what's she doing? She needs to be in here helping me. That's totally messed up. Martha's way out of line here.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to be where Mary is. She needs to be doing what Mary's doing.
If she would have just stayed in her kitchen, which this is really, I'm kind of joking around here, but if she would have stayed where she was at, doing what she was doing, I think she would have been fine. But then, she let her thoughts wander.
Yeah.
What scripture is it, Erica, that says, take captive of your thoughts, or take every thought captive?
I want to say it's in 2 Corinthians. I could check real quick if you want me to.
Check real quick. But this is where, it's really important to take captive of our thoughts, because our minds can wander, and they can wander fast. And if we don't get on top of it, where is it?
2 Corinthians 10:5.
There we go.
Yeah. Take every thought captive.
Every
thought. And I feel like this is just so applicable to women here.
Oh, yeah.
Because we all do this. Let's be honest. We all have our Martha moments.
Oh, yeah.
Where we start. Here, let me read.
Okay.
I wrote it really, really beautifully, but I
Yes.
can never remember, so I'm just going to read it.
There we go. Read.
She was distracted by her duty so as to forget the purpose behind it. She forgot what she was doing. She forgot why she was doing it. It was to serve the Lord. But then she's going off saying, Lord, you should be serving me.
Mm-hmm.
You should be making sure I'm taken care of. You should be making sure that she's helping me. She was doing stuff so mechanically that she forgot the love behind it. She forgot the purpose behind what she was doing, and it became all about herself.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So what does Jesus say to her?
Oh, Jesus.
You're right. I'm sorry, Martha. I should have paid more attention to you.
Nah.
No.
Boy, wouldn't that be nice to hear? You're right.
You're right. But he doesn't say that. He's saying you're wrong. You are wrong, Martha. He says, Martha, but he says it
He says
so
it twice,
nicely.
though.
He says the truth in kindness.
Yeah,
Which
well,
I love.
that's Jesus.
That's how he was. He wasn't offended.
Mm-mm.
I love that about Jesus. Because if that was me, I'd have been like, hey, Martha, what's
Listen
wrong
here.
with you?
Mm-hmm. This ain't about you.
Get control of yourself,
Do you
woman.
know who I am?
I am the Lord Almighty.
Right?
Okay, but he doesn't say that.
No, sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
He says, Martha, Martha, you are worried and bothered about so many things. Can I just ask you for a second? What would you do if your husband was like, Mandy, you are worried and bothered about so many things?
I'd probably laugh in his face because,
I'd be like, you don't know.
yeah.
You don't know what I have to deal with every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to say, Martha, receive this.
Mm.
And we should receive it too. We can be wrong, ladies. And sometimes our husband can point that out to us, or kids can. We need to receive that.
Yes.
We're not always right all the time. Sometimes it's easier for other people around us to see our faults or,
Mm-hmm.
Where we've crossed the line and hear it. Hear what they're saying It's okay to be wrong.
We don't have to be offended all the time by what everybody says.
We don't have to defend ourselves, which I know I'm guilty of that. Every time my husband tries to say things like that to me, I'm like, I just get so defensive, and I have to defend my actions and like say why everything's all like this, blah blah blah. But really, he's right.
Yeah.
And I should just listen to him and calm down and just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't do that whenever we say it to them, do they?
No.
Because if I would say something to Joby, he would just stare at me. And then it's like, dude, you're just making me mad because you're just staring at me. You're not even listening. But he really is. Because then later in conversation, he'll say, Mandy said this, and that was good. And I'm like, you was actually listening?
I know. My husband does that too, just out of nowhere. Oh, Erica said this. And I'm like, I did. All right. You heard me.
So, yeah, we need to be more like our men. More like Jesus.
Yeah. We and our men need to be more like Jesus. Okay, so Jesus says, Martha, Martha, you are worried and bothered about so many things, but only one thing is necessary, for Mary has chosen the good part which shall not be taken from her. All right, I gotta admit to something. That for a long time, when I would think of Mary and Martha, I always thought of Martha as the strong-willed type, kind of like the leader. She took charge, and I always thought of Mary as kind of like on a different planet. I hate to say that, but like totally not seeing what's going on around her and just sitting at Jesus's feet, like not concerned with anything. And I guess I don't know. I always saw that as like a fault of hers. That is wrong.
Of Mary? A fault of Mary?
Yeah, a fault of Mary. I always thought, she should have been helping Martha. She should have noticed that Martha needed help and helped her. That's wrong. Okay, listen to what Jesus says. Mary has chosen the good part. She made a choice. It wasn't that she didn't know Martha was doing all that. She knew. She knew Martha was slamming things around, okay? She knew that the stomping was getting louder coming from the kitchen. Okay, she could look around and see what needed to be done, okay? And she could have helped her, but she looked at Jesus and she made a choice to ignore Martha.
Her foot stomping.
And to sit at the feet of Jesus and listen to what he had to say. And that's what Jesus said. She made a choice to be there, and she chose the good part. She made the right choice. She did that because she was wise. I never saw Mary as wise until when I was studying for this. She was
Really?
exercising wisdom. Yeah.
Wow.
I thought she was just kind of like in La La Land listening to Jesus. But no, she exercised wisdom. And she sat and received what the Lord was saying. And listen, when we read this story, what did Jesus say? The Bible tells us Jesus spoke. What did he say?
I don't know, but anything coming out.
We'll never know, because this is written from Martha's perspective. And it's intended that way, is to show us that Martha doesn't know what Jesus said. Mary knows because she listened, but Martha didn't.
Right.
And so now we don't know. We missed out on what the Lord had to say to us because we were distracted with stuff.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
How many times do we get distracted by stuff and we miss what the Lord is saying because we're just so distracted by my husband sitting over there? He's not even helping me. When maybe God has you there for a purpose by yourself so that he can talk to you then and get your attention for whatever he wants to tell you,
Yeah.
Get you prepared for.
Yeah, I think about this, like, especially in the holiday season. I don't know why. It's because there's just so much more to do, maybe. So much.
Well, there's a perfectionist that's put on you that everything has to be perfect.
Yeah, and I don't know. We get so distracted by everything we have to do. We're missing what the Lord wants to tell us. If we're not getting in our Bible every night, still, we need to be doing that throughout this whole holiday season, no matter how busy we are, we're like Martha. We're not hearing what Jesus is saying. And that is the most important thing. That is more important than anything else we do during this season.
Listen, this one woman told me this. This is what she did, and it's stuck in my mind. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
It's stuck in my mind, and I still think about it constantly in everything that I do, that they were making cookies or making a basket up for Christmas or something. And while they were assembling it, they prayed for each and everything while it was going into the basket. And I'm like, well, that's the whole purpose of life right here. And anything that we do, you know, whether it's for me having people over for our church things once a month, or you, I don't know. I don't know what you do.
What do you do?
I've only known you for a couple years, but I have no idea what you do.
Okay.
Or for us getting ready for Thanksgiving, right? Maybe instead of grumbling about what we have to do, maybe we should pray over what we're doing, that maybe somebody would get saved during this.
Yes.
Or, you know, something miraculous would happen, you know.
Yeah, and let me just piggyback on that, because I can feel a lot of women saying, I don't have time for that, you know, I have to do this, and this. Listen, keep your priorities in the right order. If because of doing all these things you do means you can't do the thing that's the most important, stop doing those things, or stop doing a portion of them. I know it's your tradition, you do it everywhere, but you're worshiping your tradition instead of the Lord. You need to follow Him and follow His lead. And if everything you do every holiday season is preventing you from doing that, you need to redo your tradition. Make up new traditions that are not as much work and not so impressive to everybody. Do the minimal things so you still have time to worry about the things that matter most.
Well, a lot of the things that we do, like cooking, for instance, it's mindless.
Yeah.
You're there, you know, mashing the mashed potatoes with your mixer that you don't even have to do anything with. Like, there's time right there. Like, I'm speaking to myself when I say this, because I'm preaching to myself here. Because I do that. I say, oh, I got all this to do. Well, all of that doesn't include me thinking. So that's the time where I need to, like, start praying or thinking about godly things.
It's such a good thing for you to keep praying while you're doing everything you do, because like Martha, we can get grumbly in our mind. Start getting grumbling, and that is when you start seeing yourself doing that, stop. Practice makes perfect. So if you're going to practice being mad in your mind, you're going to be really good at being mad when it comes out of your mind.
Okay, so you remember whenever the disciples were out fishing, and then Jesus comes and walks on were they fishing? I don't know. They were on the boat. Okay. And Jesus comes walking on the water, and they get scared, and Peter's the one that goes out. And then Jesus is like, look at me. And as soon as Peter focused on Jesus, he didn't sink. As soon as we take our focus off of Jesus, we sink. We fall into sin. We do all that. Our mind turns to everything else. Our focus has to be on Jesus all of the time.
Yeah, we cannot forget that. Yeah, we cannot be getting distracted with what are good things.
That's it. It's distraction, because it says here clearly that Martha was distracted.
Yeah. Let me apply this in a different scenario.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, our Thanksgiving tradition was always to go to my uncle's house and eat dinner. And here's how it went every single year. We drive there, we eat dinner, and we only sit next to, like, the people we came with. Okay, there's, like, 30 people in this giant house. But I don't ever talk to them. I just sit with the people, like, my immediate family. We eat. And then as soon as dinner's done, we pick up all of our dirty dishes, and I station myself at the sink, and I wash all of them. We get everything torn down, put away, cleaned up, and then we leave. And every year I'm, like, a whirlwind. Like, what just happened? like, that was a lot, and I was busy. And when I first started taking he was my boyfriend at the time, but he's my now husband. When I first started taking him there, I noticed that he would, like, sit down after the meal and just talk to people. And I would get so mad. And I'd be like, don't you know, like, we need help cleaning up. There's all this stuff that needs to be done. And it would just bother me that he wasn't concerned with that, but he was, like, communicating with people. And that really did bother me for a while. But then I started thinking about this story, honestly, Martha and Mary. And I realized that we get just so caught up in everything that needs to be done. We're missing the good part. Like, what if someone was there that needed to hear the gospel? What if somebody was going through something, they needed to talk to somebody? This is what it's all about. We get together so we can talk to each other. This is a great opportunity to share the love of Christ with people. And we miss that because we're so worried about the checklist of things that have to be done. Forget that stuff. It'll be there the next day for you to do. Trust me. It doesn't clean itself. You can do it tomorrow. That is not the most important thing. Go out and meet new people. Invite new people to your home. If you go to somebody else's home, go out and talk to other people. You know, maybe it'll just be a conversation. Maybe it'll be one of those good works that God had established from the beginning of time for you to be there and use you to speak to somebody's life in that situation.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do that. I'm really guilty of that because I like to hide.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh, that's a really bad fault of mine.
I'm by nature shy and quite comfortable in my own little space.
I just don't like small talk. It scares the crap out of me. Yeah. But I can talk as deep as you want to get.
You know, like very deep.
No, like like digging deeper. I mean, I guess my voice can get deep. I don't know.
How deep do you want to Have you ever seen Freebirds? I think that's what it's called. It's a cartoon turkey movie where turkeys travel back in time. And one of the turkeys from the future is talking to an elder turkey of the past. And he says to him, "Oh, you speak very deeply." And the turkey from the future is thinking like, "Oh," and he's like, "Oh, well, I can speak deeper if you'd like." It's so funny. My daughter watches that movie. I don't know. She watches it too much. Okay. Anyway, what were you saying?
I would rather talk deep than small talk.
I have learned, that's really been hard for me too, but I've learned to show interest in them. How's work going? What do you do again for a living? What's it like? You know, and I don't know. The more they talk, the more you'll find opportunity to speak wisdom to them.
Well, I've noticed that about you because anytime we've ever been anywhere together, I'm always by myself. And you're out talking to everybody, and I'm like, look at her making relationships. That's good.
I do actually enjoy getting to know people.
Mm-hmm.
I like when people talk about themselves. I like when I can learn about people.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle when it's my turn to talk because I don't know what to say. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I mean it. I really do think that's cool, but I don't know how to, like...
Yeah, I think that's my problem is I don't like talking about me. I want to get to know you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And I feel very uncomfortable when people are like that with me. Like, they want to know about me. And I'm like, no, there's nothing to say. Like, I want to hear about you.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They say, what's new in your life? And I seriously have to, like, go back a couple weeks in my head and think, okay, what is new? Like, what have I been doing? What can I share?
Nothing. Nothing is new.
Right.
I always feel like people are just generic and just ask those questions, and they want the, oh, nothing's new, how about you kind of answer, you know what I mean? So, like, that's why, I don't know.
Most people are like that. I know one lady in particular, I'll just say her name because I'm going to compliment her. This is Patty. Patty, shout out to you.
Hey.
But man, she is, every time I see her, she's like, what's going on in your life? And she genuinely wants to know. She's like, what is new? What are you doing? How's Ruth? And she waits because she wants to know how everybody is doing.
Yeah.
And I look up to her. I'm like, man, I want to be like that to other people. But I'm always like, I don't know how to respond. Like, we're good. I don't know, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I always ask that question, and I always get the same, answer because people are, I don't know, I don't want to offend anybody, but they're so surfacey.
Yeah.
And then I got to ask them again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, really, how are you?
Yeah. And remember, because I feel like people are really, they see how sincere you are when you actually remember what they're saying. So, for example, there was this one lady who I talked to one Thanksgiving, or one holiday. I don't remember what holiday it was. And she was telling me about, she was a nurse, and she was telling me the story. And I was actually, like, really interested, and I put that away in my mind. The whole nother holiday season, so a whole year went by, and I saw her again at the next holiday, and I said, hey, how's that nursing thing going? I spoke specifically to what she had told me because I remembered it. And I could just see her face light up like, oh, you actually like cared about what I was saying. And to this day we have like a friendship now because of that, I guess. I don't know.
Nice.
But yeah, try to listen when people are telling you things and remember.
You talking straight to me?
So try to
I got it, Erica.
Would it be weird if you like wrote things down in front of somebody and said, I want to remember what you're saying, and I struggle to do that?
I don't know. Like, I'm really bad with names, if you can't tell. Because every time we come to a name, I'm like, Erica, what was their name? Like the story I told Friday about David and Bathsheba at my house.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't forget the name, you just forgot how to say it every time.
No, I forgot their names. Legit forgot them. Every single time, even though I said them like 5,000 times that night. But when you're put on the spot, everything is blank up here.
The point is to do your best and get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, because that's where you're being led into more.
Yes, exactly. That's where God is calling you, into those places where it's not comfortable and you feel like you're at your weakest, because his strength is perfected in our weakness, and we depend on him more in those moments. So this holiday season, just try to keep your priorities straight, your focus straight. Don't just do the things you always do. Remember why we do this, especially as Christians. What an awesome opportunity to share the truth of the gospel with everyone in our lives. We have family members that don't know Jesus. We go to church every Sunday and we're so spiritual all the time, but our own family members don't even know him. What? That's crazy. They should know him by knowing you, and we should make that a point. We get poured into in church so we can pour out to the people in our lives, and this is such an awesome opportunity this time of year to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything else we need to say about Martha and Mary?
I don't know. I don't think so. Choices have consequences.
Hey, so you pointed this out earlier today about Mary every time we see her.
Oh, dude. So I'm not 100,000% sure, but I think it is. In Matthew and Mark, there's accounts of a lady, it doesn't give a name, at Simon's house, where she has an alabaster jar and she breaks it and she pours it over Jesus' head. But I know 100% that in Luke and John, it says her specifically, but every single time that Mary goes out and meets Jesus, she falls at his feet.
Every time. Every time we see Jesus and Mary, she is at his feet.
Every time we see Jesus and Martha, Martha's complaining about something.
She really is. She's either serving, complaining, or lying. She does that.
And John, she lies to
to
Mary, saying that Jesus wants to see you. Well, Jesus never said that he wanted to see her. But Mary goes out and she falls to his feet. I can just picture it right now.
Again, yes.
Right after. Oh, my goodness.
Listen, so we were in Luke 10. Please go home and read this, please, because you've got to read this for yourself. It's so rewarding. Read John chapter 11. All of it.
All of it.
The whole thing. And it's all, well, it's not all, but it's mostly about Mary, Martha, and Jesus again. It's a different scene, it's a different story. But again, compare and contrast how Martha handles the situation and then how Mary handles the situation. They say the same thing to Jesus when they see him, but they say it so differently that Jesus has to confront Martha again and have a dialogue with her. I think she knows that. That's why she went back and lied to Mary. And then Mary comes out to Jesus, falls at his feet, and says the same thing to him. And he is moved by Mary's actions that he doesn't dialogue with her. He just cries.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's an amazing story. We don't have time to talk about it right now. But, man, so rewarding. Please read John chapter 11.
Yes.
But I love that. Mary is always at the feet of Jesus. And he says of her, she will always be remembered for this. She has chosen the good thing. It'll never be taken away from her. The things that Jesus says about Mary in each different occasion where we see him with her, he's building her up. He's putting her up on a pedestal, saying she will be remembered for this. Like, this is, she is wise and she has chosen the good things.
Yeah.
I never saw Mary like that until we were studying for this. But let's exercise wisdom. The wise woman falls at the feet of Jesus. What does that look like for us today? Clinging to his words. He speaks
Yes.
here to us, and we need to cling to his word and run to it, fall to his feet, and hear what he has to say to us. This is what Mary would do. Is this what we would do? Do we do this, or are we so distracted like Martha? We just run to Jesus and command him to do something to make our life easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you want to pray us out of here?
Sure thing, ma'am.
Okay. Wait.
No.
I just want to say thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the podcast. We hope you got something out of it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them for us. Like, subscribe. You can send us an email. We may or may not respond because I can't remember to check the email. But we'll try. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, guys.
Tune in next week.
We might be back in Peter. Nobody knows.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We hope you guys are safe this Thanksgiving. And we hope you read John chapter 11.
Yeah.
And share it with us. If you read it, just leave us a comment that said, read it, check mark. Okay.
All right. Ready?
You can pray now.
I'm allowed to pray now?
You can go ahead and pray.
Should I? Never mind. Dear Jesus, thank you for putting this story in the Bible, Lord, that it speaks to us, Lord, and that we can learn from it. And please just help us to keep our focus on you, Lord, and not be distracted by the things around us and our to-do list, and to make everything perfect for everybody, Lord. Nobody needs perfect. They just need you. And that's what we're here to do, is to share you, Lord, and just help us to remember that in every single thing that we do, Lord, and just help to put you first in everything. Not second or third, but first, Lord. Because that's what you call us to do. Just help us to remember that, Lord, and I just pray for everybody listening and watching them, Lord, that you just bless them, Lord, and just that they know that you are there with them this holiday season, Lord. And I just pray that they know how good that you are, and that you're a good, good Father, that you never leave us or forsake us, Lord, that is your promise. And I just hope that everybody can know that they know that. And we pray always in your name. Amen.
Amen.